afternoon, Senator.
Good afternoon, my colleagues, to the testifiers, to the people of this territory. Before I begin, I would like to give Godspeed and blessings to those that are unfortunately in the path of this hurricane that is headed towards Florida and heading through. So I hope everyone is safe. My first set of questions I want to ask have to do with I kept hearing the conversation around the arbiter, and when exactly do you think we're going to have something completed? I know you said 2025 to potentially get a temporary one for the District of St. Thomas, St. John. Do you have a time frame or a guideline for this entire project to be completed where St. Croix will have theirs fully functioning and St. Thomas, St. John will have one fully functioning, not temporary? Is there, as you break it down, is there a final timeline to say this is the goal we need to get to?
Thank you for the question, Senator. I am hard pressed to be exact about the timeline, and here is why. About 2-3 weeks ago, we went to the site on St. Thomas to look at what it would take for us to prepare the site for this mobile unit. That's good. What's going to happen now is that after we resubmit our plans to OMB, they're going to issue us an agreement to sign. Once that is done, funds can be released. Then we purchase the abattoir, which has to be shipped to the territory. So those are the steps in place, Senator. I anticipate definitely in 2025, to be more specific than that, I would really be eluding you and myself. I cannot.
Well, I understood about the temporary one, but my question speaks to, as a commissioner, have you set up a long-term goal for it to not be temporary? What is your long-term goal in regards to just having a permanent arbiter in the District of St. Thomas, St. John? I heard all the testimony on the temporary one before.
Okay, Senator, now I understand your question. I have two responses for you. Response number one.
Okay.
Most of us have a misconception that because we are making reference to a mobile abattoir, that it's temporary. There are many jurisdictions throughout the nation that have mobile systems.
I'm worried about my time. The reason why somebody said temporary. The temporary came from you guys, am I correct?
From us?
Yeah, that's why I was referencing temporary, because I was under the impression it was something temporary.
Understood.
So are you suggesting that the mobile is going to be permanent?
The mobile unit can be there for as long as we need it to be there. It can very well be permanent. There are many jurisdictions, like I said, throughout the nation that have mobile systems as a permanent system. There's nothing that is necessarily temporary about it, although many people mistakenly say that. But although it is going to be, although it is not intended to be, at the same time, Senator, our goal is to replace our building structure that is there right now. Okay. When that happens,
so that's the ultimate goal. But
that is the ultimate.
Have a time frame to get to that ultimate goal.
That is the ultimate goal. We are looking at demolition and then reconstructing. We have to now identify the source of funding for this new structure. We have to identify a source of funding for this new structure. But until then, this mobile unit will suffice. Once the new building is constructed, we have thoughts in the future where we can evolve into that mobile system, perhaps being used for poultry slaughter only. That's one of many ideas.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. Because I think with us, we have these things that we put out to the public, and when the public doesn't hear, okay, we have a goal that within 5 years, these are the steps that X amount of things will be completed by. It just seems like everything is always just tossed up in the air and there's no real end date, so that the public will say, okay, this is what we have to look forward to at the end of time certain. So that's what I was trying to get at, but you did say your thoughts on it.
Understood.
I wanted to also ask, because as you were paying attention nationally, there was a port strike where they were trying to negotiate additional wages. And to be honest with you, I was very, very concerned, because what people don't recognize is when this strike happened, if it had happened to extend for the time period that these union workers are potentially planning on extending it to, I couldn't imagine the type of effect that we would have instantly had here in this territory. We are not in a situation where we grow, in my opinion, enough capacity to feed the entire Virgin Islands. Now, with that being said, and I saw, in my opinion, the danger of it, I saw a really important need for us to really start focusing, hardcore on agriculture, not just talking about certain things. I wanted to see us really start focusing on how do we get things executed. And when we talked about the land issue, I was a new freshman senator when we had the previous commissioner before us talking about these land leases, came and spoke to us about them doing an assessment over 3 years ago of the land, came and spoke to us about potentially having to really decide if some of these parcels, like you just spoke about, might be too big for what some people are capable of, not capable of doing. And to hear the conversation today, I just feel like I'm still 3 years ago. And these are the things that have to be done in order for agriculture to progress. Because if you have over 300 farmers and the numbers that you were talking about that were in good standing, poor standing, and probation, how many of the 300 farmers actually utilize government land in order to farm?
How
many farmers of the 300 that you know utilize government land to farm?
I'm going to give you an estimate, Senator. We haven't looked at it in that particular way. But of the 300 registered farmers, the majority of them, I am going to say to you, 75% of them are probably on public land.
Okay. And do you guys do an assessment of what they produce on an annual basis? Since it's so many, 75, that's over 200 of them. So if somebody has a 10-acre parcel of land, does your agency go out, do an assessment to say, this particular farmer is supposed to be doing melons? What percentage is he producing, he or she, and what is it coming into food-wise, into contributing to the public in regards for consumption? Do you guys do those types of assessments? Because for us to just say that we have over 200 farmers out of the 300 using government land, and we might or might not have data to say what they're producing to potentially assist to see if this is the best way to do it, I need that type of information to know if we're progressing or we're just sitting exactly where we were, might have been 10, 15 years ago.
Good question again, Senator. We actually do collect data on an annual basis by law. It's called the harvest reports. And so farmers, to renew their licenses, have to submit to the Department of Ag a harvest report which indicates whether you produce livestock or crops, how much did you actually produce by way of poundage, and the kind of revenue generated. And of course, that is one of many reasons why we know that some farmers have more acreage than what they can utilize. And it's going to be, as you said, Senator, it's going to be a difficult adjustment for many, but it has to be done.
Senator, your time was called about a few minutes ago, just reminding you.
Okay, thank you so much. I do appreciate the responses. I will continue to listen, but I think we really need to hone in and focus on agriculture here. Like I said, we just had a scare. Hurricanes are always coming through here. We have to do what we have to do to make sure our people are fed. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much, Senator.
Good afternoon once again to my colleagues, to the testifiers, to the people of the territory. I wanted to get a little bit more information. During your testimony, you spoke about dealing with the Office of Collective Bargaining and the leadership of the OVILU Employees Union. What exactly were some of your concerns in regards to that? And have you guys have come to any type of agreement? Is there any continued issues? Give me a little bit more about that.
The goal of our negotiation and discussions with OVILU, with the support of the Office of Collective Bargaining, was twofold. First, to advocate for increased salaries for our employees. And the second goal was to look at the possibility of getting hazardous pay for some employees. Those are the two goals. And with respect to the outcome, we felt as if the negotiations went well, but of course, as you know, Senator, it's a lengthy process and will not be finished until the Office of the Governor signs off, and then we know the actual outcome of the process.
Okay, but you've already started the ball rolling.
Excuse me?
You've already started the ball rolling.
Yes, we have.
So that's, we just have to see it.
Yes, we have.
Okay, good.
The other outcome was the lump sum payments to some of our staff.
Okay, excellent. I'm happy to hear that. In regards to, you spoke about the youth program, and I think one of my colleagues just touched on it as well. How many young people are participating in that program, if you're aware?
I think I remember, but I'm going to ask Ms. Douglas, our Acting Director of Marketing, to assist me in recalling that number.
Okay.
That's 10 participants per district. Sorry, Shanta Douglas.
So you have 20?
Sorry, I didn't hear that. Yeah, 20 in total.
20 total?
Yes.
Okay. And you also spoke about participating in programs over the summer. Do you guys track and see what kind of feedback, what kind of interest the young people are having in agriculture? How do you guys, I mean, it's one thing to invest into something, but I want to get data as it relates. Did you see other individuals interested in agriculture? Like, what kind of feedback do you collect after not only having the program, but also dealing with summer programs as a whole?
Senator, if I understand the question, we did not directly conduct a summer program this year. We supported other programs.
No, I understand you supported summer programs. That's what I remember you said. You supported them.
Right.
But if to support them, do you guys keep data on the ones that you did support? And what's the benefit? What's the benefit of all this support? How does this help agriculture? That's the kind of information I'm trying to get at.
Well, Senator, we do not collect data directly speaking, but I can share this with you.
Okay.
One of the programs that we do support is the UVI's Ag Discovery Program, and they collect data and they can and they can tell you, for example, how many students left that program to join the academic program at the University of the Virgin Islands.
Okay, excellent. So I guess I'll have to tap in to get those resource numbers, but I do appreciate you pointing in the right direction. I'm about, I can hear my time call because I want to make sure I'm within my 2 minutes. Did they say time?
No, but we could cut it short if you want.
No, I'm just going to wrap up. I just want to say thank you guys for coming here today to share this information. I want to continue to encourage individuals that we really have to focus on agriculture. And the line of questioning that I had has a lot to do with, we have to keep track of what we're doing. We have to keep track of what we're putting into the agriculture department, the support of our farmers, because at the end of the day, the outcome is what matters. The outcome of being able to provide and feed the people of this territory, and what we put in is what we're going to get out. So thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for the time.
Thank you, Senator Alma Francis Heilig.
I am in 100% in support of liquor, wine, and beer festival in the District of St. Croix, or even in the District of St. Thomas. I fully understand the dynamics of St. Croix, specifically that they have quite a bit of companies that gear towards that type of business. But what my concern is, number one, nowhere in this legislation does it say specifically for the island of St. Croix. So I don't want that misconception to go out as if though people are voting for or against anything for St. Croix. But the second point, I am personally leery of us putting a lot of responsibility in the hands of this government. We have private entities and businesses. And the only question I want to ask quickly, Mr. Turnbull, what stops the Division of Festivals from reaching out to these liquor companies and wine companies and creating a public partnership to develop a festival in St. Croix? Is anything based on the law stopping you from doing that right now? Thank you. Mr. Chair.
Ian Turnbull, Director for Division of Festival. No.
Thank you, Senator Alma Francis Heiliger. Senate, I almost call you.
I do want to share with the audience my reason for voting no. I personally do not believe that these festivals should be merged. Beer, wine, and liquor festival is a unique situation. You have individuals from different walks of life that goes to these things for sippings, and to try to attempt to merge it with a music festival, I think would do it an injustice. My other reason for voting no mainly has to do with the fact that I do believe that there should be a festival of this sort, specifically in the island of St. Croix. But when we as a government put out the invitation to bid to manage our event, it is still our event and we still have to foot the bill. So whether we put out $1 million or $800,000, the bill is on us. I think the Division of Festival can utilize their skills and partner with the audience. My reason for voting no, I do situation. You have individuals from different walks of life that goes to these things for sippings, and to try to attempt to merge it with a music festival, I think would do it an injustice.